The worst pain I've ever felt didn't come from the years I spent hauling freight across icy highways, or the arthritis that burns my bones every morning. No, the deepest cut came from my own daughter, for words that shattered me completely. "It's over, Dad." My name's Frank Miller, I'm 68 years old, and for most of my life, I was a truck driver. I've seen more sunrises through a windshield than I can count, drank more diner coffee than any doctor would advise, and missed more Christmases than I care to admit, but I did it for one reason: my daughter, Emily. These days, mornings are quiet. I wake up in a creaky old house in a small town in Indiana. The walls hold photographs of a younger me, a younger her, and of my late wife, God rest her soul. I shuffle into the kitchen, pour black coffee into the same chipped mug I've used for 30 years, and sit at a table where the silence is louder than any diesel engine I ever drove. And as I sip, I remind myself, I carried the weight so Emily wouldn't have to, but life has a cruel sense of humor, because the sharpest betrayal of all didn't come from strangers, bosses, or banks, it came from her. When Emily's mother passed away, she was only 15, I was still hauling cross-country, sleeping in cabs, eating out of vending machines. But when I wasn't behind the wheel, I was with her. Every parent-teacher meeting, every late-night cry, every scrape and bruise. I didn't know how to braid hair or talk about boys, but I knew how to work, and I worked like hell. I never remarried. Emily was my whole world. I put her through college by running double shifts, driving through blizzards, selling the very fishing boat my dad left me. When she met David, the man she'd eventually marry, I swallowed my doubts. He was slick, smooth-talking, the kind of guy who shook your hand but never looked you in the eye. When they bought their first home, I co-signed the mortgage. When Emily wanted her master's degree, I pulled from my retirement savings. I told myself, this is what fathers do. But time changes people. Emily started talking differently, dressing differently, city life polished her, and suddenly, the old man in a flannel shirt didn't fit her picture anymore. I still remember one night, over dinner, when David leaned back in his chair, smirking, and said, "Frank, the world's moved on. You should just enjoy retirement and stay out of grown-up matters." And Emily, my Emily, just nodded. "Dad, times are different now, you wouldn't understand." It stung, but I let it go, because fathers forgive, that's what we do. But I should have paid closer attention, because behind every signature, every "don't worry about it, Dad," a trap was waiting, and soon, I was about to step right into it. It happened on a Sunday evening. Emily called me over for dinner. I wore my good shirt, brought a bottle of the wine she used to like when she was younger. I thought, maybe we were reconnecting. But when I walked into their house, the air was cold, no hugs, no smiles, just stiff silence. Halfway through dinner, Emily put her fork down, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "It's over, Dad. Don't try to see us again. Don't call. Don't visit. We don't owe you anything." I froze. "What are you talking about, sweetheart?" David smirked. "We've liquidated the account, Frank, the one you co-signed, your retirement. It's gone, but hey, you won't need it anyway, you're old. Enjoy what little time you have left." I sat there, gripping my knees under the table to keep them from shaking. My chest felt heavy, but I didn't cry, not in front of them, not while they looked at me like some worn-out relic. Inside, my heart cracked, but on the surface, I stayed calm, because I learned long ago, when the road gets rough, you keep driving. That night, I drove home in silence, no radio, no thoughts, just the hum of my old Chevy. But when I walked into my empty house and sat at the kitchen table, I knew, I wasn't going to let this be the end of me. They thought I was too old, too tired to fight. They mistook wrinkles for weakness. I started small, dug up old files, receipts, papers they assumed I'd thrown away. Every night, I read. Every morning, I made calls. An old buddy from the trucking union, now a lawyer, took one look at the papers and said, "Frank, you've got them by the throat." So I waited, patient, quiet, calculated, because revenge isn't loud, it's steady, It's deliberate, and age teaches you just how to play that game. Soon, cracks formed in their perfect little world, letters from creditors, calls from banks, audits on their shiny new business. Emily texted me at 11:47 one night, "Dad, what's happening? Please call me." David left me a voicemail, voice dripping with anger. "You think you can scare us, old man? You don't know who you're messing with." But the truth was, I did know. I knew exactly who they were, and I knew their arrogance was eating them alive faster than I ever could. I sipped my coffee, listened to cicadas outside, and thought, let them sweat, the storm's just begun. The final blow came at the town's annual church fundraiser. Half the community gathered in the hall, folding chairs, kids running around, the smell of potluck casseroles filling the air. David and Emily were there, ready to pitch their business to investors, to show off their shiny new life. But before they could speak, I stepped forward. In my hand, documents, proof of their fraud, proof of the retirement account they drained, proof of every signature they forged. I laid it all on the table. The crowd fell silent, whispers spread like wildfire. I looked at Emily, voice steady, and said, "I gave my life for you. I missed birthdays, holidays, nights of sleep so you could have more than I ever did. And this is how you repaid me." David's face turned red. He stormed out, cursing under his breath. Emily's eyes welled up, but nobody moved to comfort her. And then, the room applauded, not because I destroyed them, but because I stood tall, because I didn't let my years of sacrifice be spat on without a fight. For the first time in a long time, I felt whole. David's business collapsed within months, lawsuits piled up, creditors circled, and investors vanished. Emily, she became a ghost in town, once adored, now whispered about behind closed doors. Me? I went back to my porch, coffee in hand, cicadas in the air, watching the sun dip below the Indiana horizon. They took my money, I whispered to myself, but they couldn't take my dignity, and that's worth more than any dollar. Neighbors waved again, old friends stopped by, life felt slower, quieter, but not empty. Because I still had something they couldn't steal, self-respect. So if you've lived long enough, you know, betrayal doesn't break you, it shows you what you're truly made of. We may be old, but we're not done, not by a long shot. Tell me, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done?